Hi everyone, welcome to the Audit and Attestation class. In this class, we will be understanding a very new concept for each one of you, that is service organization. So let's understand more in detail about service organization, how it will be impacting you as an auditor, and then we'll do some practice question also. So let's dive into for more detail. So next topic, service organization. What is service organization? What is a service organization?
Basically, when we outsource our work to a particular organization to conduct a service for us, like we have, outsourced the entire accounting process to an organization. That is a service organization.
Yes, what is service organization? Yeah, Avneet, Garvit, Nimisha.
Was I correct?
Huh?
Was I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just waiting. I'm trying to awake other people.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It is as per SA 402, which is applicable in Indian auditing standard that which is related to service organization. It is like third-party auditors that third-party auditors work which we use while uh, or an organization which use someone else services. It is related to this only, as far as I can remember.
Good. Pranjali, Nimisha, Avneet, any input from your side? You guys are silent since morning. Okay. Kashish, what about you?
Yes, sir, I agree with Ayush.
But what Ayush said? That's $1 billion question. I agree with Kamal and I agree with Ayush. But what Kamal says and what Ayush says, that's $1 billion question. Yes, Kashish. What is a service organization? What they do?
Sir, anything, which we are outsourcing, like any services we are outsourcing to, to some other client or a company, then we will take it as a service organization.
Okay. Anyone from here? What is service organization?
Service organization and like a common service industry client, like service industry, for example, EY and let's say AV. That's it. So like EY is also like some providing audit services, that is some service.
Okay, let's understand what is service organization. So service organization in context of audit of your client is called any organization which is providing certain services which is impacting the financial statement of your audit client. Right? For example, if you have outsourced account payable department to someone, if you have outsourced like payroll department to someone, or if you have outsourced inventory management to someone, right? So those items are impacting your financial statement and your entity do not have direct control because you have outsourced to third party, right? Those third party internal control environment will matter for you to conclude on the financial statement of your audit client because the item that third party is maintaining is material to your financial statement, right? If it is not material, you should not be bothered about it. But if it is like we do, like most of the manufacturing company, they outsource job work, right? But maybe that job work might not be material for them, for the overall financial statement. Well, then probably you are not worried about it. But if they are majorly things are outsourcing for like processing, then it is material. Then you need to understand like what's the process going on and what's the control we have for input output, for managing the inventory with that third party, right? Same way like payroll. Payroll is generally a material item for the financial statement because it has like payroll expenses as well as long-term, short-term employee benefits as well, right? So it's impacting to the multiple financial statement lines. No, we are not checking. We are coming to that. Don't get into conclusion yet. I'm just saying first understand what is considered as a service organization in context of an audit of your client. So the third party who is providing those services to your audit client is called a service organization, right? Makes sense? Now you are not supposed to do the audit because they have not appointed you as an auditor. Right? There might be a chance like you are an auditor. For example, with ADP, like EY is auditor, right? And we are conducting so many clients audit, and we are taking the internal report from EY to EY in itself, right? But there might be chances like, for example, one paycheck. They are also like payroll processing, outsourcing, you can say companies in USA to do the payroll processing for many good companies. For example, you have been appointed as an auditor for, let's say, XYZ Limited, right? And XYZ Limited has been outsourced their payroll department, or you can say payroll calculation to, let's say, OnPay, right? OnPay company, right? So in that case, you are not auditor of OnPay, so you do not know what is the internal control environment at OnPay, right? But it's major part of your XYZ company for which you are conducting audit. So what you will be doing, you will be asking XYZ company to ask OnPay management to give you SOC 1 report if you are just testing the financial statement audit. If you are doing integrated audit, then you will be asking for the SOC 2 report, right? What is SOC 1 report and what is SOC 2 report? SOC 1 report is being issued by the OnPay auditor. SOC 1 report is being issued by the OnPay auditor to the OnPay management. That internal control which is being designed by the OnPay management are designed effectively. SOC 1 report is for design effectiveness of the internal control of the service organization. Then that SOC 1 report is being issued by OnPay to the management of XYZ Limited, right? And then that management will give that report to the XYZ auditor. Then auditor will rely on the OnPay auditor that he has done the work. Second thing is when you are doing integrated audit and you need to give the opinion on the internal control as well, then you will be requesting for the SOC 2 type 2 report. SOC 2 type 2 report will be again issued by the auditor of the service organization. It means auditor of the OnPay will be issuing SOC 2 report. But here it will be reporting on design effectiveness and operating effectiveness of internal control of the OnPay company, right? So that will give you comfort. Yes, their design and operating effectiveness of the internal control. If they are giving any qualification, then you need to consider for it. Right? Makes sense, everyone?
So I have a question here.
Yes, please.
So the on-page auditor is issuing two type of reports, SOC 1 and SOC 2 reports to the management, right?
No,
And
which report management wants.
Okay. So both the reports are related to controls. One
Yes,
is
one
on
is
the
for-
operating effectiveness and other one is on design effectiveness.
Yes.
Okay. Now that auditor is a stat auditor of that on-pay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if that is a stat auditor and on-pay is a private non-issuer company, then testing of controls, like they're not performing integrated audit at their end. So will they specially perform that area just to give
Yes.
to their respective auditors?
Yes.
To
Otherwise,
their
they
clients,
will,
sorry.
otherwise they will lose the business.
Okay. So in that case, their
Who
audit
wants
will
to,
become
like for example, you are an on-pay company, you are a private company, you are a non-issuer, but you got a client like General Motors, Tesla, or Amazon. and you just need to ensure your internal controls are effective, because without internal control effectiveness, these kind of company will not give you work.
Okay. Okay.
Right? And if you are getting the work, you have to comply with those requirements. Otherwise, you will be losing the business.
So in that case, their audit will become an integrated audit on their
Yes.
own discretion.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So like software can be given by internal organization.
No,
Only the external.
only the external. Right? That's a very good point. Like Sanchit has made, SOC 1, SOC 2 report has been given by the independent auditor, external auditor, not the internal auditor. Right? Let's quickly go through it. Just one page, not much. 2 pages. So, service organization, outsourcing agency for different accounting process like AR, AP, payroll, inventory, etc. SO provide these services to the audit client. As service organization, services are considered as a part of the entity information system if they affect any of the following. It means if they are impacting class of transaction, like we discussed AR, EP, sales, expense, payroll, so on and so forth, right? Then it has been considered to be service organization who is impacting their financial statement, and we will be requiring the respective report. How an entity transaction are being initiated, recorded, processed, reported in the accounting system, that is also matter. Third is accounting record and supporting information involved in the process of reporting the entity transaction. For example, someone is maintaining payroll register or attendance register, fixed asset register, that is also being considered as a service organization if you are just managing and maintaining those record which is being required for the company. Fourth is how entity information system capture other events and conditions that are sufficient to the financial statement, like for example litigation, claims and assessment, right? Fifth one is the financial reporting process used to prepare financial statement. For example, if you have outsourced like preparation of the financial statement, then also it is being considered as a service organization to whom you have outsourced that process. And then lastly, control around the journal entries, right? If any of these things function is being done by any third party for the company, then it is being considered as a service organization. Information about the use of service organization can be obtained from the following source. How do you get to know like company is using service organization, right? What audit procedure you will be performing to get an understanding that company is using service organization. As an auditor, this is most of the time practical challenge. We may not get to know like how many service organization company is using, right? So for example, like what all things you will be verifying or understanding. First is like user manual or process narrative. So when you are going through process narrative, in that they will be mentioned that this work is being outsourced to third party and they are doing this for us, right? This is generally mentioned in the process narrative or standard operating process or user manuals, right? Next is system overview. When you are taking like system overview, then also you can get to know like what all service organization that company is using. Technical manuals, minutes of the meetings, whether it's like board meeting, sales team meeting, purchase team meeting, or internal directors meeting, shareholder meeting, like what all third parties they have appointed, you get to know from those meetings also. Then when you are reviewing the contract and purchase order, from there also you can get this information, what all service organization that company has appointed. Report of the service auditor, internal auditor, regulatory authority. So these are like areas through which when you are performing the audit procedure, you can get to know like what all service organization that management has involved, right? Make sense? Anyone would like to add something more to these examples? These all are just examples. There could be more inquiries. Yeah, yeah, I can. Yeah, sure. Here we should have. Inquiries with management. Absolutely. Right. So these are the ways to identify the service organization used by the management. If auditor required more information related to service organization, internal control design, and operating effectiveness. Design and operating effectiveness to conclude on their audit, then he or she can contact service organization through the client support. He can ask the client to connect me to the service organization and the service organization auditor to understand more in detail about the process we have done. If like from the SOC 1 report, SOC 2 report, auditor is not comfortable, there might be chances. For example, like company has outsourced maintaining the payroll register to the third party, right? So auditor has seen like what all are inputs coming in attendance register and what he has done all the mathematical calculation based on the sample selected, and but he has seen in a payroll register like different data is coming. So he is not comfortable, even though we have given him SOC 1 report or SOC 2 report, but as an auditor, I'm not comfortable with the some sample I have selected, the calculation is coming out, which ideally it should be what exactly is coming out of those payroll register. Then I wanted to know more, right? Then you can request to the client to help me introduce to the service organization, understand more in detail about the process and work to resolve those differences, right? So you can ask that. Second is request service organization auditor to perform some addition procedure. So you can also request to the service organization auditor to perform certain addition procedure for you. For example, let's say when I was doing the audit of general motors, right, we were issuing like internal reports to the other component auditor for the central control, which is being reviewed and tested by us. So in that case, like component team were coming back to us, please select our country also as one of the sample. Like for example, like GM has operation in 83 countries, right? So we have 83 components, but generally in test of control, we test 25 sample, right? And let's say the Korea or North America or different region, the component says we can rely on the testing you have done, but there should be at least one sample from our country should be there. That's what our law says. Right, in that case of scenario, as an you can say central auditor or as a group auditor, we have added like 1 or 2 samples from the respective location. Same way, you can also ask to the service organization auditor, when you are testing the internal control, please select one sample of our entities for which you are conducting. Or if you need any additional support, and then there, if it is like major thing, then there might be a fees negotiation which would be there. But you can ask it, right? Next is visit service organization to perform such procedure. Maybe you can ask to visit to the service organization. So these all are legitimate requests you can make to the management when the management has involved service organization, right? If user auditor is unable to obtain sufficient evidence to achieve the audit objective, he should qualify the opinion or disclaim the opinion. So if despite of doing all these things, you are not comfortable, so it's your auditor report. You can qualify them, and if they are not allowing you to go to the service organization, you can disclaim them.
Just from your experience, like 90% of the cases you get the software, we will rely on that.
Yeah.
10%, let's say for second point, third point is very minimum, right? Like
Yes.
it's not like
So when
you
you
are
are
giving
giving, I'm coming to that. We are coming to that. We are coming to that. So here, just look at the entire gamut of service organization when your entity for which you are doing audit is being involved. So first thing, to understand what are the components involved in it. One is service auditor. So what is service auditor? The auditor who reports on control of the service organization, right? So maybe okay, once we go through, I can make a small, you can say if needed, I can make a small chart as well. So one is person is called service auditor who is doing audit of the service organization. Let's say, for example, we are an auditor of XYZ Limited, right? Let's say, for example, Ayush and Gurmeher is an auditor of XYZ Limited, right? XYZ Limited has outsourced payroll services to OnPay. And Garvit and let's say Sanchit are auditor of OnPay, right? So Garvit and Sanchit are service auditor. Garvit and Sanchit are you guys with me?
So service
Yes,
auditor.
sir.
Okay.
These are
So
services.
now understand second point, user entity. That means user entity is the entity which is XYZ Limited, right? XYZ Limited. Who is conducting audit of XYZ?
Me and Gurmeher.
Huh?
Ayush and Gurmeher.
Ayush and Gurmeher. Ayush and Gurmeher are auditing XYZ Limited. So XYZ Limited is audit client, or you can say user entity. User entity, why they are saying user entity? Because they are using service organization, right? Entity that use service of the service organization and whose financial statement are being audited by Gurmeher and Ayush, right?
Yeah, right.
Now user auditor. So user auditor are Gurmeher and Ayush, right? Because they are auditing the user entity. That is the reason they are called user auditor, right? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The auditor who audit and report the financial statement of the user entity or entity internal control of the financial reporting. Now let's understand type 1 SOC 1 report, type 2 SOC 2 report. Type 1 SOC 2 report is of service auditor. Who is the service auditor? Sanchit and
Sanchit and
Garvit. Garvit, are you here?
Yes, sir. Me and
Service
Sanchit are.
auditor.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So service auditor report on the design effectiveness of the internal control. When you need design effectiveness, when you are just auditing financial statement. When you are not giving report on integrated. When you are not giving report on internal control, then you are comfortable to have SOC 1 report. Then you will be asking only and only for the SOC 1 report. But when you need to give the report on both financial statement as well as on internal control, then you will be requesting for SOC 2 report, right? User auditor, Ayush and Gurmeher, you are doing audit of XYZ and issuer. Which type of report you will ask?
we'll ask for type 1 report.
So type 2 report, user integrated audit. Type 2 report.
I just munched my words, huh?
No, I got confused. Type 1 report is for design effectiveness. It's written.
Good morning, Ayush. Good morning. So, Ayush and Gurmeher are auditor of XYZ Limited, which is an issuer,
Yes.
right? So, which type of report you will ask to your client?
Type 2 because for user we perform integrated audit.
Yes.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Right.
And if you are, if XYZ is non-issuer, then yes,
Then it would
Then
be
SOC 1 report will
type
work.
1 report.
why type 1? Why not type 2? That
Because
is
we are
more
not-
important to understand.
Because we are not performing integrated audits. We're not.
If non-issuer,
We are just
if
We are
performing
not
financial
reporting
statement
on
audit.
internal controls because we are only reporting on financial statements in that.
Yes.
yeah, if for example, non-issuer is also required, wants to do integrated audit, then
But then we will take it as SOC 1.
SOC 2 report.
SOC 2 report, right? You need to understand like the audit objective,
Okay.
right? Okay, so we have 2 quick questions here. Let's do that and then we can take a break. First one, which of the following conditions should be met for accepting an attestation engagement to report on the controls at the service organization? First one is the description of the control is completed prior to signing the engagement letter. Service auditor has the competency and capability to perform the engagement. Management agree that service auditor will be responsible for documenting the control. Last is suitability of the evaluation criteria is reviewed by third party. So which engagement is it and to whom they are asking? relook at the question. Which of the following condition should be met for accepting an attestation engagement? For accepting an attestation engagement to report on the control at the service organization. So which party is accepting? Service auditor or user auditor? This question is for
Service auditor.
Service auditor it would
Service
be.
auditor.
right? So service auditor has been asked to do the attestation engagement on the internal controls of the service organization, right? So what all things before accepting a service auditor will keep in mind? Hmm? 1, 2, 3 or 4?
I think option decided is one part of the acceptance. They are part that happens later.
Yeah. So first one is the description of control is completed prior to signing of an engagement letter. So would it be mandatory procedure before accepting the
No.
attestation engagement?
No.
Right. Third is management agree that the service auditor will be responsible for documenting the control. Is it the responsibility of service auditor?
No, no.
No. No.
Fourth
No.
is the suitability of the evaluation criteria is being reviewed by third party. So is the service auditor responsible for third party or for management?
For management.
Right? So first, third and fourth is wrong. Then second might be easy choice. It may be right. What it's saying, the
Yeah.
service auditor has the competency and capability to perform the engagement. That is something you will be considering before accepting an engagement. Right? Everyone?
Right.
With me? Okay, last question before we are going for a break. A user auditor of a non-public entity should perform which of the following procedure to obtain audit evidence related to operating effectiveness of service organization controls when the risk assessment involve an exception that the controls are operating effectively? Type 2, type 1, type 3. Anji, are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Type 2, everyone agree? Or anyone have doubt?
Sir, I have doubts.
Yes, what is your doubt? What is the question? What is the call of the
Sir, a
question?
user auditor of a non-public entity should perform which of the following procedures? So, इसमें we are auditing both the controls and the financial statements. So that is the reason we have to obtain a type 2 report, right? It's an integrated. Yes,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.